Isagi YOICHI, I'm afraid you don't have a choice. You need to lock in. What's up, guys? I'm Kaiser, and here to do a breakdown / live reaction review to chapter 281 of wow, which is known as the Formula of Evolution. And I'm a little intrigued. Notably, this isn't necessarily against Keikaku. Alright, Keikaku is still perfectly in place. I was a little bit shaken, but not really. I think Keikaku is still in place. He's always gonna get that final goal. He's gonna be the #1 in Blue Lock, and I'm gonna do a little happy dance. But I'll admit, as y'all got on me for last chapter, I may have been a little bit too harsh in the review and not clear enough with my end of review thoughts. So let's not waste any more time and let's hop right into it. Ending me. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do happen to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. And another fun fact, I was okay with it. Alright? I like a lot of my no, I'm pretty sure I just didn't explain it well. No, normally I'm bad at that. I've had multiple comment sections where I've mentioned the topic earlier in the video and then proceed to change my mind mid-video and then just not necessarily address it as much as I initially gave the negativity. So Isagi's writing makes sense within the context of the situation. That I do agree with that. I'm not even mad at y'all because I know my fellow Isagi fans were like, "You traitor!" like y'all hit me with the error from AOT season. Is it 2 or 3? I think it's 2. But essentially, I know y'all got me with that. And hey, I think it's fine. Sorry, my bad. I should have been clearer on that. The other thing. Oh yeah, we're still pre-draw. It's peak lock. Peak every week. Last chapter was not. I saw someone in the comments being like, "I guess this chapter wasn't peak if Pencil complained so much." I was like, no. Don't get me wrong. It's still peak. It just caught me on guard at first. So, there's that. And of course, we still pre-drawing it. I mean, I think we're kind of in the wind-down phase of this game. 10 more chapters at most. And I'm hot. It really depends on what happens in this chapter. It's called the Formula of Evolution. But, we'll see. But 10 more chapters at most. So, I'm assuming that guy in the kitchen just ain't gonna become canon. Because so far, we've been cooking. Ikaguri's been cooking to the point where I can't even hate on Ikaguri anymore. Do you know how much Blue Lock has to be cooking for me to actually put respect on Ikaguri's name? It has to be cooking insanely. Indubitably. Undeniably. But, of course, enough about Blue Lock cooking, about corrections from last review. Let's actually hop right into this review, chapter 281, The Formula of Evolution. I don't know who's... Probably Ego? If we're going to continue off where we ended last chapter. As a general rule, all organisms are born receiving half of their mother and their father's genes. Yes. Which half, though, feels entirely random. And you may be like, whoa, Pencilman, what the heck are you talking about? Genetics or, constant? Not really. Because, I've seen siblings who are born, a year apart, and they look nothing alike. And at the same time, I've seen twins who are the exact same and do literally have identical genetic codes. But at the same time, I've seen fraternal twins who are born literally at the same time and look completely different. So, yeah, technically, I get what he means when he says, as a general rule, all organisms are born receiving half. And not even in the sense that sometimes you can be born with more or less of your parents' genes, but in the sense that, you can get half, and you can get those same people to make half again, and it'll come out completely different. Heck, we even have an example of this in the manga. I don't know how much older Sei is than Rin. I actually don't know off the top of my own piece. I think Sei maybe... Hold on. How old is Hitoshi Sei, Blue Lock? That's not. How old is Sei Itoshi Blue Lock? I do not see his age anywhere. Hold on, let me see. It's going straight to the wiki. Let me check his age. So he's 18. So he's 2 years older than Rin. Those two look nothing alike. I mean, we see the parents of both of them. I forget who got whose hair. I think Rin got his dad's hair, and then Sei got his mom's hair. But just look at them. The only thing that really tells you that those two are siblings is their underbrows. That's about it. And I guess maybe general eye shape. But other than that, they look mostly different. Rin is way bigger. They are two fundamentally different people despite coming from the exact same parental lineage. So yeah, you do technically get half. But those halves can be completely random. For good and bad. Let's see. Boop, boop, boom. However, well, there we go. We're immediately getting into it. However, there are occasionally copy errors, and the child is born with a trait that neither its parents possesses. Mutation. I got a little bit wiggly there, which is funky. And it's once again why I think, like, so far humanity has really struggled to, like, specifically alter the human genome. Like, we've altered a bunch of other genomes. Why are fruits and animals and stuff like that so big now? We've messed with their DNA. Chickens in the modern day are not meant to be that big. Same thing with most fruits, vegetables, anything. We have messed around with other genomes. But so far, gene editing for humans, it's just not a thing yet. The way we're advancing, it seems like it may be a thing in the near future. But at least for so far, for the, 4,000-ish years of recorded human history, we've never figured out how to do that. Because we're just that complex. And occasionally things like this will happen. We will just mutate. Let's say, for example, extreme smallness.
You're all so big.
Height, speed, or sensitivity of feeling. That's also true. and the mutations can not only just come from copy errors, they can also just come from, like, environmental exposure. But then again, I guess it always leads to copy errors. So, like, I know, at least in my family alone, my own grandfather wasn't actually that tall. I think he was, like, maybe 5 something. Like, I know he was not anywhere near 6 foot. I know that for a fact. Yet he has, like, multiple 7-foot grandchildren. I'm not one of them, unfortunately. I'm 2 feet tall, but still, he has multiple extremely tall grandchildren. He has multiple extremely tall sons and daughters. How? Because it's not like our grandmother was that tall either. No, for some reason, just it happened. Things like this occur all the time, and we just don't know. Of course, there's also, like, recessive genes and, like, linear. So, like, this is technically... a lot of you are not just the culmination of your parents. You're the culmination of your parents, and then their parents, and then their parents, and their. I've seen cases where, like, a great grandparent will have a specific genetic trait, such as, like, a certain facial structure, and it will not appear until their great grandchild. I don't know why. Just be like that. But let's see. Sensitive of feeling. In most cases, the child is singled out for being different or cannot compete with others, and is so culled out without passing on their genes. Unless that ends up being advantageous as such for evolution. Let's see. But in very rare instances, that trait happens to be advantageously suitable to the environment. Why am I giving you? I'm giving you a grappling. I don't know why. I usually give him, like, the Vexen voice. Well, assuming this is ego. Let's see.
I can eat the fruit in high places.
There's no food down here. Wow, that's great. Whoa. I mean, yeah. And that's true. I think that's how giraffes, like, well, it's not just giraffes, but, like, it's just how things work. Because, like, the reason giraffes have such long necks is because one giraffe, which I forget. There's some species where it's just convergent evolution, or I forget what it... See, that's the thing. I haven't studied biology in so long, so I'm going to get all my terms mixed up. But there are some species that have convergent evolution, but not, like, contingent evolution. I forget the terms. But essentially, there's a type of evolution where two things look the same, are the same, will always be somewhat the same because they have a common ancestor. And then there are just two things that look the same, act the same, and may somewhat appear the same, but have no common ancestor. Essentially, think of whales and fish. A whale is like the superfish, right? No, it's a mammal. They do not share... Well, in the end, all living things share one common ancestor because, evolution and stuff like that. But still, in terms of the grand scheme of things, you cannot trace back a whale and a great white shark. Even though they could both look similar in terms of, like, their general structure. But in cases like this, yeah, giraffes have super duper long necks because some common ancestor of the giraffe was like, whoa, why this neck a little like that? And then they had more kids, and that neck was a little like that. And they had more kids, and that neck was a little like that. And I think this is what this is referencing. That gene proliferates through natural selection. Oh, my kids have long necks, huh? Yeah! Okay. See, I mean, okay, Nomura, I get it. What, this 3 pages of this? You save it on the budget a little bit. I get it. It's hard to do. And the trait was one. Ego, stop this. You're getting the Vexen voice. Because that's all you deserve. I'm a scientist. Experiments are what I do. Yes. And the trait was once a mutation, becomes a new standard for the species. These genetic cycles repeat over and over until the original species has become a totally different creature. Yep, whales. Which, they're dogs. Which is still like well, not they're dogs, literally. But, like, whales were dogs. The blue whale, the largest species to ever exist, was once a canine. I think... Do whales and dogs share a common ancestor? A small insect-eating animal is the common ancestor of whales, elephants, dogs, and humans. Okay, well, human. Okay, we're not. But still, like, I'm pretty sure there was just whales were just like a creature that lived near water and then like kept diving into water and then just kept watering so hard that they ended up turning into a baby fish. But ultimately, I still find it so funky because they're water reliant. A beach whale will die, but they still have lungs and like still need to breathe. I get it. They're super duper large. Like they don't need it, but still it's such a weird thing to me that like you evolved everything except for the thing you need to live in your primary environment. What? Oh, sure, you need air, but you can't have too much of it or else you die. But listen. This is how it came back. Oh, you know what? This is going to be Ego's voice for the video because it keeps coming back. This is evolution.
Wow, I had no idea. So basically, it's like how Pichu turns into Pikachu, right?
I can say that, but they can't say that, which is always been funny where you can tell which manga have like license to do certain things, which don't. Because I've been reading another manga. You may know it. It just got animated. I'm literally almost 10 chapters away. But then again, the manga wasn't too long. I think it's like 172 chapters, so I'll probably get up to like 171 and then review 172 probably later this week. But that aside, what was I saying? Oh, the idea that Pichu and Pikachu, since they are nowhere near owned by whatever company produces Blue Lock, is like, we're not risking that lawsuit, but we can get real close. Censor. It's like how they have not FIFA, and like all the other brand names. Like they're off-brand just enough. So they can't get sued. But it's like McDonald's. You see that in almost every anime. Henri-chan, foolish adults who stop studying will get culled out by natural selection. No. Ego, they won't. Ego, who's your boss right now? No, Ego, you be spitting. But who employs you at the moment? Do you think, whatever his name is, the Tanuki guy, you think he's educated? Think he kept studying? Ego, that's where you're just flat out incorrect. But let's see.
Right. I'll do better. But embarrassing.
Okay, Henri, I can't. In no way though does that have to do with your position. Like, I have not touched calculus, the subject, in a specific time period. I don't want to say it because I don't realize how old I am. Maybe not. But essentially, I have not touched calculus in years. I do not remember the quadratic formula. But it does not pertain to my line of work, and honestly, I don't care. Same thing with biology. Same thing with darn geography. Fun fact, I think I've been in this before. In book reviews or not. But regardless, I suck at geography. I have always been horrific at it. I've never touched it. I've been bad with heavens forbid. If I did not have a cellular device to guide me throughout life until I get a path memorized, I'd be gone. Lost, bamboozled, I can't read. As you can guys tell by how I review and struggle to say phrases sometimes. But still, in that case, I've never touched it. So I can't blame Henri for not knowing about convergent or divergent or any type of evolution when it's irrelevant. But
what connection does evolution have to soccer?
I mean, kind of the whole thing, because it's sort of like people being born with specific traits, right? Like Shigiri technically is evolved. It sounds so weird to say, but like the thing that's special with his leg, right, that allows him to get more drive and thus move faster, that's an evolution. It was a failed gene copy that resulted in that mutation. Thusly, he was faster. And that's just not in soccer. That's like in all sports. Some people who can put on muscle mass easier will have an easier time getting into really any sport. Like, what is a sport that does not require any sort of physical sport, at least? Like, there are obviously like esport, but even then I say esports do require, like, you do need good eyesight, you need good dexterity, good reaction speed. And while a lot of that can be trained, it's innate. Essentially, if you just have better genetics, if you are more predisposed to performing the action within a specific sport, you're gonna be better at it. So like, I say evolution has everything to do with life, not even just sports. Like, just think about it. If you've never had to struggle in school, it's because you've evolved that way. Well, kind of, sort of. Like, personally, school never whooped me too bad. Until it came to pre-calc, where it body bagged me, and then geometry body bagged me, and then algebra started to body bag me. That should have warned me for geometry. But like, outside of that, I didn't really have to struggle. Why? Because I come from a long line of intelligent yappers, I guess. And bada bing, bada boom, it wasn't too much of a struggle for me. That's evolution. Thusly, it wasn't too hard for me. I could focus on other things. Same thing with people who are innately good at, like, really any sort of technical skill ever. You ever know that guy who's just real good at coding? Bros evolved that way. I suck at coding. I learned how to do it and immediately forgot that skill set because I suck at it. But I know a guy who can code like crazy, and thusly he's now an engineer. So like, these things work out. Well, this is just my personal theory about talent, but the various evolutions human society undergoes are essentially the same as this. Oh man, we're really saving budget for this chapter. Golly, let's see. Humans that are born with traits that others lack have a hard time being understood and live difficult lives. It always depends on the traits, though. Like, if you're born tall, I'd say typically, I'd say just in general, if you're born tall, you're gonna have an easier life. I've never seen a tall person get bullied. I've never seen a Goliath-built individual get bullied. Because people just know better, right? And technically, that's a trait that others lack. Though, then again, I do know some extremely smart people who have been ostracized for their smartness, or at least their engagement in their intelligence. I got that. But typically, it really depends on the trait. I say a lot of physical traits are typically, like, favored, though. Like, there are some people who are born with naturally high cheekbones and just have, like, very aesthetically pleasing faces to what are modern standards of aesthetic. What is it? Like, what's it called? The beauty standard? Like, a lot of people just can be born that way, with, like, a really good, natural, perfectly fits the beauty standard thing. That's a trait that not a lot of people have. Some people will literally pay for stuff like that. But that's not a trait that ostracizes them or made them live a difficult life. So, you speak a little bit too generally, my boy Ego. Doesn't it? But that might be a gene that will cause humanity to evolve. Oh, it's like, okay, so it's like the whole, a certain athlete breaks a record, suddenly everyone has to break that record, or at least the old world record, because like, oh, well, now we have to. Like clearly it's possible. There's one example of that I always forget. I feel like I always try to mention it in Below Fields, but I always forget. There was some world record that stood untouched for like 30, 40 years. And then some dude went and broke it, and then everyone broke it. No, I think it was it what is the fastest mile time on the planet in history? 3/4. Yeah. I think it was the 4-minute mile. A lot of people thought it was just literally impossible. But then some dude did it, and then everyone had to do it. Like, it became the new standard. The current record is like 3 minutes to 43 seconds. So, like, it is possible. You just have to do it, and that's the kind of thing. A gene that appears once will then attempt to be replicated by everyone else who isn't born with that gene. And some will succeed, some won't. Let's see. Those areas of differentiation produce unique expressions of body and mind, and there are some people who can cast those expressions out into the world. And amidst them, there are some revolutionary expressions which are suitable for the era and circumstances. And these can change the world's standards. Yep, all these these are funny little references. I don't get this one. I'm assuming this is a reference to Mozart? Maybe Beethoven? This is obviously, at least I think it's a reference to like Steve Jobs. And I don't know about that one. Maybe like J.R.R. Tolkien. There are a lot of authors who like change the landscape. Or you could go back as old as Shakespeare. Have you read anything that feels remotely Shakespeare inspired? That's because he did the thing, and everyone else traces it back to him because he kind of just did it. So yeah, the one with those seeds are what I call geniuses. Oh, that's interesting. Those who are born, I guess, yeah, if you're born genetically predisposed to be better. But let's see. But to that present society, that innovation is sometimes something the genius can achieve. It is never something the genius can achieve on their own. What does that say? You're a genius! Someone needs to discover the seed, comprehend its worth, and be able to communicate it to the world. By boosting its feasibility and reproducibility, they turn it into a new world standard. The one who does that are called talented learners. Or thieves. I suppose, like, I feel like it's not hard bad to say this. Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison. Isn't that just, like, once again, I haven't actually looked too much in the story. The only information I have is, like, science class years ago, and, like, that one epic rap battles of history video. But, like, wasn't that just, like, a cold, hard case of what technically Ego's referencing here? Where it was a genius and a talented learner, but, like, really just straight up thievery? I don't know. I see. So the talent mutations that geniuses have eventually become common. That's the same as genetic evolution that you explained earlier.
Right. Kind of, in a roundabout way. Right. I think that's how human culture has continued to evolve. The same is true for some. The mutant geniuses with abnormal physical abilities and incredible plays become singularity points, and by analyzing the geniuses and forming new tactics or data used to counter them, the talented learners develop plays using a new kind of logic. I mean, I get, you know what? I feel like it's weird to put. I feel like, if anything, then again, we just don't know enough about Charles's backstory, and I don't think we're going to find it out for a while. I think ultimately, we're probably not going to find Charles' backstory until, like, maybe the end of the U20. Like, straight up that long from now. So, that's going to be, like, years. But, if anything, I'd switch these two from what we know them so far. But then again, I guess Baro technically was born a genius. He rallied a whole bunch of people behind him, but outside of his, like, initial luck in soccer when he was younger, and his dominance there, he's a hard worker. Like, Nagi, absolute sense of the genius. Bachira, he's kind of funky, but I could see referencing him as a genius. Who else in Blue Lock him specifically? Who people who are just built that way. I get the rest of the comparisons though. I get Reo, I get Nagi, I get Karasu. Like these are people who just adapt to geniuses. Even then though, to some degree, well then again, no, Reo is a talented learner. That's the whole point of copy. But like that's an interesting comparison. Baro's the only he's the most funky. Even Bachira's a little bit funky. But then again, we don't really know if Bachira trained. Like he just played with himself. Not in that way, but like he played by himself and on the occasional team entirely autonomously. Meanwhile, we know Baro he's been hitting the gym since forever. That's how soccer has evolved. Oh, that's the formula for evolution. Yes. Now open your eyes, YOICHI, Isagi. The world doesn't just revolve around geniuses. Geniuses and talented learners share the stage. This is true. I mean, and like it is just a thing, right? And I think a lot of human development, it comes from competition, and like typically the more intense and visceral the competition, the faster the evolution. Like, I don't like to say it, but it's a fact that a lot of the revolutions or technological advancements, a lot of the biggest leaps humanity's ever taken forward was because of war and conflict between humans. It's just how we evolve. I don't know. And like, of course, that's the big macro scale, but even on a micro scale, don't tell me you haven't gotten better because you ran into someone close to your capability. Anytime in your life. It doesn't have to be physically. It doesn't have to be mentally. It could be in a video game. Could be in a sport. Could be anything. There's at least one. I've yet to meet an individual who does not have at least one story of meeting someone who has similar aptitude to something that they have aptitude in, and they accidentally made one or the other better. I've had it multiple times throughout my life, in multiple different aspects, whether it be in sports, back when I ran track and field, whether it be, heck, even in content creation. I've seen other people be like, whoa, it's cool video style, bro. Be ashamed of someone. Cop that. And I cop it. Like legit. It is just a part of human nature. Even through competition and observation, we continuously evolve. Mainly through competition. I say the best and most prominent evolutions even I've ever had was when I was in specific competition, not just observation, because like there's stakes. And typically, you can observe things and not necessarily matter or not necessarily care. I've observed many things I will not care about, but in competition, unless you just give up, you're always going to want to win. But let's see, Isagi, let's see how you cook. And talented learners like you have their own path to becoming the world's best. Woo! Ego! Are you glazing? Okay, Ego. I suppose you're hopping on tip. But let's see. YOICHI, Isagi. Igaguri, all the restarts. You know what? This is how you redeem a character in my eyes. This is how you do it. Because I hated Igaguri. I didn't and I'm still kind of, then again, can I really name 23 whole characters that I want in the final 23 more than Igaguri? Can I really? Isagi, Bachira, Kunigami, my son, Hiyori. Boro, obviously. Aiku, Nico. I don't care about Aryu. That's the thing, I'm so indifferent to Aryu, I don't really care. I don't care about Otoya. Okay, so like, Yuki Maya, I haven't seen that man in years. I don't care about him either. So like, maybe this is just it. Maybe Kaneshiro Sensei grabbed me by the throat and made me see the light. He's lifted me, he's like, it's like a very twisted version of what happens at the start of Lion King. Just, he grabbed me by the back of my neck and said, you're gonna take these Ikiguri feats, and you're gonna respect them, and you're gonna like them. And now I gotta respect him. I gotta like it. Gosh darn it, Ikiguri. You wanna talk about a turnaround? I have to make a video just that alone. Let's see. Boom! Okay. There's no way I can defeat a genius. You've done it before! You've done it before! Okay. This is once again, I know I spent the whole like first second of the video being like, hey, let me clear. This is what I don't like. For someone who's so focused on logic and previous data and inputting said that, let me read the rest of this page first. That absurd plays that geniuses make are impossible for me to try to pull off on the spot. I can't even imagine it. Okay, that's true. I can get that. The first statement, there's no way I can defeat a genius, you've done it multiple times. Multiple times. Like, I legit, let me think, Rin, especially if we're going with, like, you've beaten all three people in this image. If we're going with Ego's definition of a genius, all three of these people have bowed to you at some point. In some cases, literally. Like, you had that man Boro on his hands and knees. Isagi, you've beaten all these people. So, saying never, I could never, there's no way I can defeat a genius, that's a lie. It's wrong. It's not even, like, it's not even a matter of opinion. It's incorrect. But then again, once again, as I realized, and as a lot of y'all pointed out, technically, he has never been able to defeat this many geniuses at once. He's dealing with Kaiser, Noah, Loki, Rin, Charles, Shido. Like that's 6 people. 6 people, and the 2 that are on his side aren't even really on his side. Like he's not, like, Noah's not working with him. Like, he doesn't care. So, like, yeah, technically, I get it in the broader context, but just hearing this statement, from Isagi YOICHI in particular, I can never defeat a genius. You're the main character of this 281 chapter manga, bro. You've trampled over a couple geniuses. Let's see. I can't even imagine it. Wait, I think I might have always fought as a talented learner. This is an interesting term. Let's see. Blind spots, two Spagooter volley, luck, that. And that weapon, in that moment, I'd analyze somebody's talent, copy it, and make my own arrangements based on predictions. I've stolen from everyone else and still barely scrape by. Barely? I mean, in some cases, yes, you barely scrape by, but in other cases, Isagi. Like, we've seen you literally turn into, like, a deity. You had this man, Yuki Maya, thinking you were a god. Like, I know you've never been in other people's heads, Isagi, but, like, there's predicting somebody's play. There's blocking a mix-up, and then blocking a mix-up and reverse TODing somebody. You've done that. You've done that. You've 2-aced into TOD off someone who thought they were going to mix you into oblivion, Isagi. And you've done it numerous times. The main one that comes to mind recently is Yuki Maya. But, like, you've pulled this off. You even pulled it off in the moment. Who taught you the 50-50? I mean, like, that is genuinely an Isagi YOICHI original. I get this moment here, the reference back to Baro and the Naruhaya game. That specifically, I get, and I guess, but, like, can we really, I feel like the 2 Bang Bang Volley and Nagi's Juggle Shot are 2 different things. Like, Isagi, you just legit came up with a 50-50, bro. Like, that's not something you've seen before, buddy. You came up with that. That's your tech. And even then, dog, stay all you want to stay. Like, that, honestly, there's nothing better. Once again, you can call me a little bit twisted for this. You can say I'm a little bit wrong for this. And I absolutely am. But, like, there is nothing more satisfying than taking someone's tech and using it against them. For the longest time, I didn't play Trunks. But a friend of mine picked up Trunks because we were both fans of Lotus. After he whooped me with Trunks one time, I was like, oh, it's time to get in the lab. I stopped him from being a Trunks main. Me personally. I picked up his main, anchored him, and did him better. There's nothing. To be fair, he's the Broly main I constantly mention now. So, like, he got me back. He got me back perfectly. He said, fine, you want to play Trunks? I'll get you someone who can play Trunks. And then he picked Z Broly. So, of course, Now our matches are still just as even as they ever were before. But like that feels good to me. Is that wrong? Is that vile of me? I don't know. That may be vile of me. That may be a little bit devious, dark, and diabolical of me. But I don't know. Something about stealing tech and using tech against the original owner of the tech. It scratches a devious itch within my soul. I'll admit. It's something twisted, something dark, something devious, something diabolical within my very heart and soul. But it's there. And it's never going to leave. So Isagi, if anything, stand proud, bro. You took tech and made it better in some cases, and we're actually able to use it, like Nonohaya and like Nagi. Both of these people failed in their respective applications of their respective talents. I mean, alright, worked a little bit, but still, he mostly failed, and now he failed with his juggle shot. And you took them, made them better, and you actually used them to success. So Isagi, come on, broski. And what, we're gonna start calling Nonohaya a genius because he came up with that? Come on now. Let's see. I don't have enough originality to create something from zero. I'm a genuine second-rate talented learner. But like, what's wrong with that? If you can... Well, once again, he's in his own head right now. He's definitely way too deep in his own brain right now. And hey, I always say this, and I don't think it'll ever not be true. You can always be your own worst enemy. You can be your biggest op in like every single way possible. It is... I've seen it. I will continue to see it. I've been my own biggest op many a time. And I know I will be my own biggest op many a time again. Heck, I'm technically, in a weird roundabout way, my own biggest op right now. In certain aspects of my life. Trust me. And in that case, I think that's where Isagi is right now. Because, like, really, there's nothing wrong with that. Heck, for all we know, outside of his ambidextrous nature, Noel Noah may be a talented learner. Chris Prince may be a talented learner. The Snuffsters may be a talented learner. You don't know. He's obviously Loki's just built like that. But still, let's see. Poor Rin. You should have known better, Bugger. Let's see. This game is just revolving around the geniuses. The world is waiting for another super goal. Kind of. I mean, yeah. Nobody's gonna make a pass to a second rate like me. I need to steal it myself. Yes, Isagi. Steal it like you've stolen all other things. You bandit hero king. Isagi's really built like Robin Hood, if you think. Well, he doesn't give to the poor, he gives to himself. So, like, he's Robin. No Hood. But let's see. Like, I don't know. I don't think I've ever been blitzed in real life, but I understand Isagi's terror, bro. Like, if you've ever been run past, like, say, because, weird story time, but one of the things we had to do way back when, I remember this was back when we were trying to figure out, like, the 4x1 team, we would have to chase each other. We'd have to chase each other and try to pass the other person. It wasn't just a game of tag. We did that sometimes too, but that was on like days where we had like just had a meet and we're trying to cool down, so we'd like do tags and stuff like that. But I still remember there was a hill, and we would have to let the first person go. They get like a 3-second head start, and your whole thing was to hawk them down and beat them to the top of that hill. It was like an exercise that tested multiple things: your acuity, your ability to pass somebody in the middle of a race, stuff like that. And I specifically remember, back in the first time I was running, I had no real idea how to run. I was really young. Back when I was a freshman, I had no idea. And the feeling of someone just bursting past you, especially when they make no physical contact with you. It's one thing if they bump you, then it's like, oh, well, shoot, I'm gonna fall. No, they just ran. That is haunting. And thusly, I made sure to do it to other people, but still, I understand Isagi's like a genuine shock horror. Because it's insane. It's insane. Especially when you think you're running your top speed and you just see someone go past you. And you're like, I am giving literally every bit of my physical energy. How are you still doing this? Especially when I had to, like, I get it. Like, huh? No. This is on a whole other level. Like, Loki said, I haven't gotten to play all league. Or I haven't played all league. Let me lock in a little bit. And he's just messing around, bro. How's he break? Yo, Chigiri, how you gonna catch up, bro? Was it? I don't have a chance in the underworld. Between me... Oh, okay, it was a back pass. No. Between me and them lies an unsurpassable genetic wall of talent. In certain aspects, yeah. I'm not even gonna say here, like, there are probably people out there who have trained harder than Usain Bolt. Endlessly harder. There are likely people who have done everything in their ability to reach the same levels of speed as Usain Bolt. Never will. Never will. They could spend their entire life. They could be born, and then work every day since they're able to walk, and they still may not surpass Usain Bolt. There is such thing as a genetic wall. You cannot make yourself taller. I think this is surgery, but like you can't make yourself like a half a foot taller. It's just not a thing. You have your genetic cap. You can only put on so much muscle. You have a genetic cap. Like I do agree with that. There are some things where you simply cannot override how you were built, how you popped out your mama. That is just life. And that's a tough aspect to swallow, but in certain aspects, that's why you need to learn how to work around that. Now, of course, I can't talk about that much in like the sports sense, but like when I struggled in certain things where I saw other people weren't struggling, I just worked around it and was better at them in other things and used that to my advantage to somehow still beat them in a roundabout way. Like, trying to think of a specific example that's not school related, because I feel like I always keep referencing school even though I haven't been to school forever. Let me think. Oh, well, no, I mentioned this before. I sucked, and forever will, because I don't think I'm ever going back. I always sucked at starts. I mentioned this before. There was a guy who was real good at starts. His kick was trash, though. So, I just trained. I did my best to train my starts. I did real hard, or as hard as I could to get better at them. Somehow I just couldn't do it. But I just kept refining the race itself. I may not have a good start, but I'll be darned if I don't catch you. And that's what I always did. So sure, he beat me sometimes at first. And then I got my race down, and boom, I was faster. That's how you work around some sort of genetic thing. But of course, that's more so like an action versus genetics. I can't really think of like something specifically genetics. I'm like maybe intelligence. But even then, like intelligence is also weird to accumulate in like a genetic thing, because I suppose you could say it's like a memory difference. Because at least how we're taught, at least in the common school system that I went to, like it's mostly a memorization game. Sometimes it's application, sometimes it's application. But typically, if you just had good memory, school's fine. You learn how to do something. It's really in any class that's not like an application of a specific thing. Some people would mess up on applications of like formulas and stuff like that. That I get. But like if you had good retention and could sit down and read a book, you're good. So like I feel like it's hard to use school as like a wall of talent argument. But then again, there are people who just are built like that. Look at Albert Einstein, Stephen Hawking, insert extremely intelligent person in history who is yet to be surpassed here. Let's see. The Lord is so unfair. Huh. Well, huh. How can you be so unfair, you disgusting deity? You disgusting deity. Kaiser? Tweak it out? Huh? Wait, what? Kaiser? Why did he say what I was thinking? No way. You're a genius like them, aren't you? No! Which is why, like, you saw the gears turn in my head. Technically, no! He's not! He really, Kaiser impact is real strong. That is a genetic thing that he does seem to have. But even then, he refined that with training. And like Isagi. Do you remember what you did to get your amps in this arc, buddy? You copied him! You took his tech! Which he learned somewhere else. Like, buddy! This is life, Buckaroo. Like, you have seen it. In fact, once again, it's kind of like the same thing I was talking about last chapter. Isagi, you made him better! You woke up Ren! It's like, even if he was a genius, clearly you can still reach and tickle their toes a little bit. So, yeah, Kaiser's just like you, Isagi. And that's why you're so good. That's why you're still... I've seen a lot of people, because they recently started to glaze Ren and Isagi's dynamic. Ren and Isagi's dynamic. Kaiser and Isagi still clear. I'm sorry. He's just the best rider. Borrow fans, y'all can go tickle some toes. But Tierra fans, if y'all even exist anymore, because your boy's been suffering, y'all go tickle some toes. The Nagi tickle some toes. Like, you can tickle anybody's toes, but you ain't tickling my toes. Because I believe Kaiser and Isagi just had the best dynamic. It's why I'm so sad that this is going to be over and we're never going to see it again. But still. Oh, we're at the end of the chat. Shit! Okay, yeah, no more was tied this week. Let's see. Huh? Unlike me, you're holding your own against other geniuses. Huh? Wait. Could it be that you're a talented learner too? Yes. Yes, he is. And then again, I can't blame Isagi for not thinking that, because one, he doesn't know Kaiser. Yeah, never mind. Like, he has no, like, I always get, that's the thing. I'm so locked up in, like, I'm the omniscient reader. I know everything. I am all that this world has to offer. But like, I don't actually know nothing. I genuinely know that I don't actually know anything. I know everything about this universe and its characters from what we've been given so far by Kaneshiro Sensei. But in universe, he says he knows nothing about Kaiser, so why would he know? Never mind. So it makes perfect sense why Isagi would be so confused. Especially with the way Kaiser Impact and Kaiser himself was introduced. Yeah, Kaiser, he wears the mask of a genius very, very well. But of course, all it is but a mask. But still, a very interesting chapter. Heavy words chapter, don't get me wrong. And I can definitely see a lot of people not liking this chapter too much. And don't get me wrong, I don't think this chapter is ever going to sneak into like my top 10 or anything. Half the chapter is based on like a lot of lesser artwork by Nomura, but hey, I don't care. I still couldn't do this on command. And I like what it talks about. Once again, I do think the innate unfairness of humanity and just like existence as a whole is always an interesting topic to tackle in almost any medium. Whether it be a medium with a power system like a Dragon Ball or a Naruto, or be a medium without a power system like Blue Lock, or, for example, gosh darn it, whatever. I can't think of another one right now because I'm mad dumb. But stop saying God of Ice. That's not how that works. It's literally all power. But essentially, I like when it's tackled. The inequality of man. Because it's always true. It's always true. There's some people who are just born better. And you can either spend your entire life thinking life is unfair and it sucks and it's cruel and it's nasty and demean and why didn't I get born a certain way? Or you can suck it up and keep it pushing. Personally, I've been in the sucking up and keeping it pushing category ever since I popped out my mama 2 inches tall and grew to 2 feet tall. And honestly, I agree with the chapter. Sometimes you just gotta keep it pushing. Whether you are born a genius or born a talented learner, you must simply exist, enjoy life, and adapt to it. For it's not, not for, but because it's not gonna wait for you. It's gonna keep moving forward. However, of course, that's what I think. Please tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, please do me a favor and leave evolved genius. Yeah. Leave evolved genius in the comment section down below. And thank you so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do happen to have a Patreon down below where you can support me for as low as $1 month. You things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Those perks include the live reactions to every the series I have to review, and free variations of all my videos, and you come into a $5 Patreon or a $25 member, you can order whatever video you want. Also, I do have a link to my Ko-Fi description down below where you can drop 5 beans for a short video, 25 beans for a long video, or any beans at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, I'd like to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with a Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our $3 members: Zara, Greyhound, Eternal Flame, NMA, Real Rare, Red Wolf 4765, Astro, Brandon Payne, G Prosper, and Glacier XZ. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $5 patrons: Midnight Lord 21, Kevin Encarnacion, Sean, Igneel Lind, and A+A. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $7 members, Fine and Austin Wimberly, A Uchiha, along with Yuki Ally. And I'd like to give a big ol' thank you to our $10 members, Robbie Uchiha, Jay Warrior, and AZ Void. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $10 patrons, Overlord Zero, Joaquin Munoz, and Idemo Kami. And I'd like to give a final, giga, legendary, superhuman, beyond the bounds of reality thank you to our That Guy with a Pencil tier patron, Calvin Elder.